Good afternoon. Welcome to English Composition 1. I am thrilled to be your instructor. My name is Enrique Rodriguez, and even though we are meeting in a synchronous format, I want you to know that this course is designed to be interactive, engaging, and deeply personal as you discover and develop your authentic voice as a writer and a communicator. Over the next 10 weeks, you'll embark on an exciting journey that will culminate in something special, your very own a talk style presentation. Well, don't worry, we're not just throwing you in the deep end and right away. Every assignment, every reading, and every activity is carefully designed to build the skills and confidence you'll need for that final presentation. Course structure, the TEDx journey. Let me walk you through how this course unfolds because understanding the big picture will help you to see how everything connects. You gotta think about that. At the end of the day, you're going to create a TEDx style composition. And then um, it will be polished, engaging on a topic that you're passionate about. This is not just a presentation. You're not talking to me. It's your opportunity to share your unique perspective with the world using all your communication skills you'll develop, and will help. They'll make our time together more enjoyable. But here's what makes this course special. Every major assignment builds toward that final presentation. Think of it as climbing a mountain. Each assignment is one step that builds up on the next. So during the first 3 weeks, you'll become a detective of communication. You'll analyze an existing TED Talk, examine how speakers connect with their audiences, their structure of their arguments, and use storytelling to make their points memorable. This assignment teaches you to recognize what makes communication effective, skills you apply to your own work, and then that will lead us to week 4 and 5, where we'll do an analytical exploratory composition. We'll take a deep dive into research and exploration of your chosen topic. But because this is English composition 1, the research, even though I said deep dive, will be lighter. This is not just about fact gathering. You'll explore multiple perspectives, examine complexity, and develop a nuanced understanding of your subject. This foundation will make your final presentation authentic and well informed. Then on week 6 and 7, you're going to present your why. You'll craft a written argument, learning the structure and persuasive appeals and support your claims with evidence. The skills you develop in written persuasion will directly translate to your outspoken presentation because any good writing and any good speaking share many of the same principles. Then comes the final project. You'll bring everything together into your TED Talk, incorporating visual elements, storytelling techniques, and persuasive strategy you've been practicing all semester. Each assignment builds on the previous one, so you're never starting from scratch. By the time you create your final presentation, you'll be drawing on weeks of presentation and skills development. First, to get started on the journey, you're going to have 3 essential materials to engage with. These are not just assignments to check off. Your introduction, because I'd really like to know where you're coming from, what makes you unique. Then we'll also understand, we'll dive into the first 3 TED Talks. The first one is The Danger of a Single Story by Shimanda Ngozi Adichie. Watch this powerful talk where Adichie examines how incomplete narratives can shape and limit our understanding of others and ourselves. As you watch, pay attention to how she uses personal stories to make the broader point about communication and perspective. Notice her storytelling techniques, her pacing, how she builds her argument. Jot down moments where you felt particularly engaged and persuaded. Next, we'll listen to Julian Treasure, how to speak so that people want to listen. Treasure offers practical insights into effective vocal communication and audience engagement. This talk is especially valuable because he demonstrates how his own advice while giving it. As you watch, consider which techniques might be most valuable for your own communication style. Think about how his advice might apply to both written and spoken communication. I also want you to read an article entitled Introduction to Rhetoric, Using the Available Means of Persuasion. This is a short 5-page article that gives you a foundational vocabulary and concepts we'll use throughout the course. It is imperative that you pay attention when you're reading this article because much of what you're going to be graded on relies on things such as the rhetorical triad and audience and setting. Don't worry, I don't want you to memorize everything. I just want you to understand them so that I prefer understanding without memorization. And as you read and watch, keep a notebook or a document open and jot down communication techniques that seem particularly effective, moments where you felt engaged, moved, or persuaded, questions that arise about how communication works, connections to your own experiences with the effective or ineffective communication. These observations will be valuable for your first assignment and throughout the course. Now, it is important that in order to keep everything going, even though it's an asynchronous course, for you to go to the discussion session. You'll be heavily graded on this. But first, I want you to find your voice. And that happens best when you have conversations with your classmates that brings you diverse experiences and perspectives that enrich everyone's learning. In the discussion forum, when you introduce yourself, more than just the basics. Share your name and what you like to be called, any major or area of academic interest, one story, experience, or perspective that has significantly shaped how you see the world. Because I know this is a very vulnerable moment, I went ahead and made an introduction of myself answering these questions. Also want to know what you hope to gain from this course. What do you want to learn? One thing you're curious about regarding communication. And then, as the post in your introduction, you must engage meaningfully with at least of your two classmates. This is what I mean by meaningful. First, you're going to respond to someone whose academic interest or background it's either very similar or very different from yours. Someone that picks your interest. Discuss how your different perspectives might complement each other in analyzing communication rhetoric. And what other questions might you ask of each other? What insights might you offer from your unique backgrounds? Then I want you to additionally respond to someone else. So remember, you're first introducing yourself and then you're responding to at least two other people. Now, feel free that if the engagement goes really well with one of your classmates, keep it going. I want to see this. Now, remember, this course is not like any other course. You're not just writing for me. You're developing your unique communication skills for a real audience. Your TEDx presentation will genuinely impact people beyond this classroom. Now, if you want some extra credit, go ahead and at the end of the semester, submit that proposal to TED. If you get picked, oh my god, I'm going to be more than excited. But the idea is not the extra credit will not lie in whether or not you get picked, it's whether or not you do the assignment. Remember that we're connecting in writing and speaking in ways that reinforce both skills. Group writing principles enhance your speaking, and thinking about your audience engagement in speaking makes your writing more compelling. This course recognizes that finding your voice is deeply personal. I'm not trying to make you all sound the same. Instead, I'm giving you the tools and techniques that you can adapt to express yourself, your authentic self, more effectively. The goal isn't perfection, it's simply growth. Every assignment is an opportunity to experiment, receive feedback, and refine your approach. In fact, I have been asked in the past, whenever I have been teaching this course, what is the best way to get an A in this class? The answer is simple: be willing to fail. If you're willing to fail, if you're listening, and if you are genuinely engaging, you will get a much higher grade than you could have ever imagined. Looking ahead, please remember that every professional, every leader, every person who has ever made a meaningful impact has to develop their ability to communicate effectively. And that the first draft, it's always crap. So don't worry about perfection. Go at it. Let's build here some persuasive writings. Let's develop our critical thinking, learn the basis of basic research, and please complete the required readings with active note taking, post your introduction, engage meaningfully with two classmates' introductions, and begin thinking about the topics that genuinely interest or concern you. This could become the foundation to your TED Talk. Familiarize yourself with the course platform and upcoming deadlines. I've designed this course because I believe each of you has something valuable to say, a unique perspective, insight, or story that the world needs to hear. My job is to help you find the most effective ways to share that voice with confidence and impact. I'm excited to see how each of you develop as a writer, thinking, and communicator over the coming 10 weeks. This is going to be an engaging and rewarding semester. Welcome to English Composition 1, Finding Your Voice. Let's begin this journey together.